Hey guys, welcome to Hanging Out with Dee, and I'm Dee Harris. Today I have a really cool guest to introduce you to. She is Kathy Purdy. Welcome.
Thank you.
And she is the founder of Hillside Foods Outreach. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes, my friend Susan Pagan insisted that we needed to talk to you because of the work that you're doing, and she'll be joining us later. So tell my friends at home, what's Hillside Foods Outreach? What do you do?
What we do is we have volunteers that home deliver groceries to people who are in need and need assistance in getting food for themselves and their families, and for whatever reason can't make it to local pantries. So we home deliver to them.
That's fantastic. That's really cool. What inspired you to start this company?
My grandmother. She was my inspiration.
Tell us the story.
There was a time that she should have had enough to live off of. She was on Social Security, and she didn't have enough. And I knew something was wrong because we would help her with certain bills. So she should have been okay. And I investigated because I was concerned, and I found out that what she was doing was she was taking what she had, the food she had, and she was cooking it, and she was bringing it to people in the building that didn't have enough to eat, and that would end up going hungry towards the end of the month. And I didn't want that on her. So I was able to reach out to a local food bank, and they let me buy food for about 12, 14 people in the building, and I would do it once a month, and I started taking it to them on a monthly basis so that they would still eat, but it wouldn't be on my grandmother.
On your grandma. Oh my goodness, that's a powerful story. How did you get the name Hillside Foods? What inspired that name? What
inspired that name is my faith. And we are able to feed many people. And it's like when Jesus fed the multitudes on the hillside with the 5 loaves, the 2 loaves and the 5 fishes. And God just miraculously multiplied it.
Fed the 5,000 men plus women and children with food left over.
So it was more than 5,000.
I love that. That is fantastic.
And He miraculously multiplies for us so that we can feed the people that need it.
I love that. That's a fantastic story. So how do people get in touch with you? You were telling me that people should not Google you and try to call you directly for
Not
support.
People that need the help. Volunteers, yes. People that want to donate, yes. But for people that are in need of food, because we don't put the clients through anymore, it's a bad situation to be in need. It's humiliating, it's fearful, and so we don't want to put them through anymore. And so what we do is we take referrals directly from agencies that know the situation, can verify that the client can't get to a pantry. Many agencies, Department of Social Services, United Way, visiting nurses, even churches and schools call us when they find out that there's a need, and then we step in and start the delivery.
And you do it with dignity because these are cars that are coming to people's homes like they're friends. These are unmarked vehicles.
No, all of our volunteers use their own vehicles, and we give them about 6 clients, and they're responsible to go to those clients each delivery, because then eventually when you go to the same person time after time, you can develop a relationship with them. And there's many instances that our volunteers have been able to help with more than just that need for food.
That's beautiful, Kath. All right, so you were talking about the fact that people sometimes think that you get the food for free that you provide in your pantries to people in need. Tell us how you actually get your food.
No, it is a misconception out there that that food banks give food to pantries, and not just pantries, but soup kitchens or shelters. But we do have to buy it. It's not free. The only time we really get free food is if somebody does a food drive outside of a supermarket for us or something. But we have to pay for the food, and our food bill for all of the clients that we're currently currently serving can run well over $10,000 a month.
What?
Yeah, so it's quite a job trying to get this
donations.
Yeah,
and support.
donations and
oh my goodness.
yeah, corporation grants, whatever. We try to get it all, because just for Thanksgiving, if we want to provide turkey to all of our clients, all that we serve, it's going to cost us well over $8,000 just for the turkeys. That doesn't
Forget
include
the
the
mashed
West.
potatoes and the fixings and all of that.
I mean, we won't. We'll try to get that too, so that we can give them a full complement of a Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
But the turkeys alone are going to run well over $8,000. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big job.
It is.
But you're doing God's work, and you know that.
Yes,
you know
and He
that.
always provides.
Yes. How many homes do you deliver to?
In the Connecticut area right now, we're delivering to approximately maybe 2 to 220 homes right now.
And those are delivered to once a month, or how often?
Yes, once a month, but we're also, because our warehouse is open 5 days a week and sometimes 6, we do get fresh produce a lot of the time.
Yes.
So our volunteers do come to the warehouse during the week, the ones that are available, and so that we can get that fresh produce moved quickly, because
it couldn't stay there for a month.
No, no, the staple goods can, and the frozen foods, which is our meat and chicken. But a lot of our volunteers will come during the week and pick up produce as we get it and get it to the clients.
That's fantastic, fantastic. What's the profile of your families? What do they look like? So you were saying they're like Army vets. Who are these people that you're serving?
There are a whole range of people, people that never ever expected to be in this situation. We have families that are working minimum wage, low-paying jobs, 2 and 3 jobs, but they still are having a difficult time feeding their children. We have veterans that are coming back and they're living on their disability. And it's in this area, it's a very expensive, it's a very expensive area. And if you make a certain income above it, the poverty level, if you're making an income, then you don't get help. And the federal poverty level is across the board. It doesn't matter
regardless of your state.
Regardless of your state. So
what is that level? Do you know?
I think the average right now for a family of 4 is $32,000. It's either 32 or 36,000. But even a single person in this area is difficult to live on that.
Much less 4.
4? It makes it almost impossible.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people are in need. We have a lot of seniors that are living on Social Security that just cannot make it. We have unfortunately, we have a lot of cancer patients that have gotten ill and they're on chemo, and that's making them sicker and they can't work. We have patients on dialysis, people from all walks of life, hard-working people who never expected to be in this situation. Because none of us know. None of us have a guarantee.
Absolutely.
But we are told to help our brother.
Absolutely.
So
And
that's what
what
we're
you're
doing.
That's so beautiful. So tell me that cool Bernie Williams story.
Well, I get invited.
Tell everybody who is Bernie Williams and all that stuff.
Well, Bernie Williams, if you don't know, which everybody usually does, is a former New York Yankee great.
Yes.
And he is now a Grammy-nominated jazz musician.
Fantastic.
And 14 years ago, I was asked to speak at a church about the work that we're doing. And evidently, it turns out he was in the audience, in the congregation, really, and came up after me, after the service, after I spoke, and really was moved by what we shared, and he wanted to be a part of it. So at first, he actually started delivering groceries.
Bernie Williams was delivering
groceries. Yeah, he had a lot of seniors, and they didn't really recognize him. So, but because he was an active player, it wasn't a good fit. So after assessing it, he figured that the best thing to do for us was to host a gala for us every year and to be a spokesman for us. So his help has been tremendous. So that's his role
in your nonprofit.
Yes.
That is wonderful, wonderful. Who was your mentor? We have like 30-second wrap up. tell me real quick and we'll talk about it more. Your grandma.
My grandmother. To watch her minister to these people, all different kinds of people, the poor, the elderly, and she treated every one of them with love and dignity and realized that they had a right to a basic need, food and friendship.
Yes.
And that really stuck with me, and that's what I've tried to model the outreach for.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathy. All right, guys, it's time for Dee's Life Questions. All right, Kathy, let's keep talking about your sweet grandma. Tell everyone the story about when you went to the grocery store together and what she did.
Oh, yes. My grandmother needed a ride to the grocery store. And I think she had about $40 on her, and that was going to be her food. And when we walked in the door, she saw someone that she knew, and she went over and they started talking, and I just waited on the side.
How old were you at the time?
I was I would say my late 20s, early 30s. Just a few months ago, And I waited for her, and then she talked to the woman for a few minutes, and she came back, and she said, all right, let's go.
She didn't shop?
No, she said, let's leave. And I said, but we brought you here so you could grocery shop. She goes, no, that's all right, let's leave. So after we walked out, she told me that the woman that she met had a bunch of kids and lost her job. So Grandma gave her what she was going to use for her grocery shopping so that the woman could buy extra stuff for her children.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that made a big impact on me.
Oh my goodness. That's making a big impact on me right now. That's beautiful. Oh my. What do you know for sure, Miss Kathy?
For sure?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
My faith in Christ as my Savior.
Why do you know that for sure, Kathy?
Because I know that He is real, that He has my life in His hands, and He has a calling for my life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Are you doing what you were born to do?
I am now, yes.
How do you know that you're doing what you were born to do?
I don't have the skills to do what I'm doing. I got married out of high school. I had a family. I stayed at home and raised my children. Even started a daycare business when I became a single mom so I could stay home with my children. And I never went to college or had any training, but this happened. And God has given me the skills and the ability. He's graced me with them to be able to do what I'm doing, and the things that I'm not able to do. He's brought incredible people around to fill those gaps. And it's being done by somebody who normally in the world's eyes wouldn't have the ability to do it.
Absolutely.
So that's why I know, and I have joy. I have joy. No matter what goes on, I know that I'm in the right place. And that gives me peace, and that gives me joy.
And that's powerful too for anyone who wants to know, like, what is their purpose and how do they know that they're doing what they're doing. That joy is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
And finding that you are doing things that are beyond your level of qualification. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So tell me some stories. You said that there was a client whose husband had died and how your volunteers drove her to her sister.
Well, like I said before, you get about 6 families. So when you go back time after time, you get to know them. And you develop a relationship with them. And this one particular man in he had a delivery route, and one of the women was elderly. Her husband died of cancer. He knew the husband, and the woman was struggling. And when he went to deliver food one day, him and his wife, she started crying. They asked her how she was, and she said she was going to be evicted because she just couldn't keep up with stuff on her own. And they sat down and talked to her and found out she had, I think it was a sister in Pennsylvania, and offered to take her in. But she had no way to get there. She had no money to move. And this volunteer rented a U-Haul truck.
At his own expense.
At his own expense. packed her up, and helped her move to Pennsylvania with her sister, because our volunteers get involved with their clients' lives.
They become a part of their
exactly.
life as well.
It's not people in need anymore. Now it's Jessica, and it's Stephen, and it's Mark. It's a different dynamic. You don't just see the statistic.
You see the person.
You become friends with the person.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, it's time for I Don't Like That Mom. All right, Kathy Purdy, what gets on your last nerve? Tell us all.
When I share with people what I do, and they come back to me and say, oh, it's lazy people that don't want to work and want to suck off the system. And that is not true. In all the years I've been doing this, I probably could count on one hand those kind of people that I've come across. It is a rarity. The people that we work with are people just like you and I that have had something happen that you didn't expect and found themselves in a very bad situation. They're not lazy. They're not milking the system. They're hardworking people who are really down and need a hand up.
We don't like that, Mom.
No, I don't like that at all.
And then you told the story of a high school student as well that got help through Hillside.
Yes, we got a call from a high school that it was just a mom and her daughter, and the mom decided to go back to her country, but it wasn't the daughter's country. The daughter was born here. And the mom left, and she was a senior in high school, and this young girl took a full-time job and went to school, and then would leave and go to the full-time job so she could pay for a room. And she was coming to school hungry. So the guidance department called us. And we are now helping her with food. And we were able to connect her with a college student that delivers for us.
That's
so that
cool.
they could develop a relationship. And
a friendship.
And it's worked out very well, and we're able to help her so she doesn't have to worry about food now.
That's fantastic. Wonderful, Kathy. Okay, guys, it's time for us to see a really funny video, after which we're going to see Susan Pagan. That was too funny. All right, guys, so guess who we have with us? We have former Mrs. Connecticut Universal with us. You've been here before.
Yes,
Thanks for coming again.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so now, guys, we're going to go into the Say What segment. We know that this is a portion where masters in their area get to share something that's really important, something that they want to leave with you. So go for it, Kathy. First graphic, Dylan. Is that it's not people who are milking the system, it's people who are having a hard time. That's what you want people to know.
Yes, very much so.
Go ahead and talk about that.
Yes, as I said before, it's people who don't want to be where they are. They're fearful, they're embarrassed. They isolate, because it is a very embarrassing thing not to be able to provide for yourself or your family. And they need people that understand that and won't judge them. Will just come in and help them. And this is what we strive to do.
I remember you telling the story of how when you were helping your grandma's friends or the people in the building, how at first they wouldn't come out.
No, no, even though they knew who I was and they
Yeah.
knew I was coming,
Yeah.
they would just keep the chain on the door and crack the door, and all you saw was a little eye. And I'd say, well, this is Kathy, remember? Mary told you I was coming. And they said, oh, yes, I know, thank you. Just leave the food. So I'd leave the bags and walk away, and you hear the door open, and you turn around and see a hand, reach out and pull it in. But eventually,
Over time.
the door would, when I'd knock, the door would open, and I actually got invited in and asked to sit down and visit, and a lot of those people don't have anybody else.
Yeah, that's relationship. What about you, Susan? What have you seen?
Similar.
Yeah.
You know, some of the families invite us in, and
Yeah.
you know, we go in and we talk for a while.
Yeah.
You know, find out how their month has been going, or what's going on in their lives. But then there are others that just really want us to leave the groceries at the door, and
Yeah.
they and their children come out and get them. So it you know, it really depends on the family and how
when,
they feel
and where
about
they
it.
are. Yeah,
Yeah,
where they are in the
yeah,
process.
Yeah.
All right, next graphic. You said there is no guarantee in life. Talk about that.
We aren't promised a good life with no problems in it. And what I'm learning and what I've learned through my faith and through life experience is if you reach out and help someone else when you need it, it will always be
come.
there. It will always be
Absolutely.
there for you.
Absolutely.
And it's like the New Testament says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Absolutely.
And we hope that it doesn't happen, but if it does, you hope there's somebody there that will not judge you, but will care and help you.
That's what some people call karma, right?
Yes.
You sow good, and good is going to come right back to
Right.
you.
Right. Right.
That's beautiful.
Right.
You want to
And-
add anything?
Well, just that, you know, the word tells us about the two tunics.
Yes.
You know, if you have a tunic,
Yes.
two tunics, you give one to someone
someone
else to
else.
help them.
Yeah.
And it's not just about clothing or food or whatever. If you've gone through something and you can help
Yes.
and share, then
Yes.
it's your privilege and your responsibility to do that, like, you know, in my situation
Absolutely.
and with Kathy and
Yeah.
her grandma. So,
Yeah.
you know, I've said this many, many times, it's sincerely a privilege to help and to serve. It really is.
Wonderful. It's beautiful. Next graphic. We need financial help, Mon. Talk about it, Kathy Purdy.
Yes, we definitely do. Altogether, we're feeding over 2,500 people right now.
Wow.
And that is very expensive, very expensive. We have food bills we have to pay. We like to get them fresh produce, fresh dairy. And then we have to pay for overhead. I mean, we have to store the frozen food. So we have the, you know, the bills for the freezers and rent spaces. So yeah, it is difficult to come up with the money, and it's
Yeah,
something
just that
we're
number you gave her, the
constantly-
$10,000.
for the turkeys. Yes, yeah. So yes, we definitely do need financial help, and we are a 501c3 charity, so it is considered a tax donation. But we can't do it alone. We
Absolutely.
definitely need people to help us with the finances.
Absolutely. I get that. All right, next graphic. We need committed volunteers like Susan Pagan. Go for it, Susan. What is it like being a volunteer with Hillside Foods?
Well, it's a lot of fun. You know, we get to meet people, meet new people, build
Yeah.
relationships, like Kathy said, and just, you know, share in their lives. And it's just, it really
Yeah.
is a great deal of fun. It's work. And sometimes there's sorrow there. You know, you feel like you have to carry their burdens a little bit. You know, my husband and I will leave a particular home and be moved by something. We just have to sit and gather ourselves for a few minutes before we
Yeah.
move on. But,
Yeah.
you know, it really is, it's a great honor.
Yeah.
And it's very
Together.
moving.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And what did you want to say? What type of people do you look for? Who makes a good volunteer?
Anybody can make a good volunteer if they're willing to give of themselves to help someone else.
Yeah.
So,
And be committed, right? You don't want somebody who
No.
comes today and then goes, you know what, I'm not in the mood.
No, for many reasons. First of all, that commitment and that repeating visit will develop a relationship. Plus, on the other side of it, especially the elderly, you know, they don't know who you are. And it's difficult to send somebody else each time and have them knock at the door. So they get to know you and they're familiar with you, and then you'll start to see that door open.
Absolutely. Right. Next graphic. People don't like handouts. It's a hand up. Talk about it, ladies.
Well, that goes back to the fact that it's not lazy people. It's people that are having a hard time. And even proud people sometimes will really take a hand up. And a hand up means you're helping them up to that next level. Not that you're constantly caring for them, but giving them a step up.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all called to do.
And I like the fact that you're giving more than food, you're giving friendship as well. That's so powerful.
Food is our first goal, but the friendship comes
is
with
always
that.
there.
Yes.
Susan, you had a powerful story to tell.
I think that you know, there's that point where we give independence really to the families and to the people, because we're delivering groceries to them. We're not delivering pre-made food, so we're giving them that responsibility where they can cook for themselves. So it's that sense of, you know, they just had, you know, Peapod deliver or something. You know, I mean, that's kind of the way that it is. And so that's important to give them their independence.
And their dignity.
Yeah, their dignity, right.
I love that. Next graphic. Testimonials. Susan was telling me about someone in the green room who didn't need help anymore. Right.
It was a particular family, and I called them, as we do, to remind them we're coming with their delivery. And the gentleman said to me, "We don't need you anymore. I got a job and we're doing well." So, you know, we'd love to hear stories like that, because then we were able to pick up another family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What do you want to say?
Yes, it is. We do see many instances where the people will say, "Oh my goodness, I got a job.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, but I don't need your help anymore." That's the best thing we can hear.
Yeah. Wonderful.
You helped me through a very difficult time, but things are looking better. So that's good to hear.
That's wonderful, wonderful, good stuff. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks for having us.
What a beautiful story today to know that we can help someone not only with food, we can help people with friendship, that the role that we have as people is to connect and to do good and to help someone with a hand up, because we never know if it could be us the next time, right guys? You know where to find us on Facebook, Hanging Out with Dee. See you next time. Bye. Be kind to someone.